not live in fear, to have faith that things will work out, that all you have to do is persist until you succeed. Your 80-year-old self would tell you to stay healthy, to take care of your body. And it would ultimately tell you to share your gifts with the world.
Are you a small business owner concerned about the downturn in the economy? Top business leaders like Mattress Mac and Warren Buffett will tell you that now is the time to promote your business more than ever. People need your services. Your business needs an edge. Learn about special advertising packages for small businesses right here on Edge Radio. Find out more, give us a call at 281-744-0446. That's 281-744-0446. Edge, because truth still matters.
Welcome back to How You Are Living. And today's guest is Dr. James Stansel. Did I do it right?
You got it right.
Okay, whoo. You know, I'm a Texan. We'll mess something up in a heartbeat. And you work with students, and you're a student specialist at Prairie View University, and you formed a 501 organization to elect you well.
Intellect you well.
Okay.
Like
cool.
intellectual.
That's a cool. I like to play on the
Intellectual.
words. Yeah.
Okay. I'm
It's cool
slow.
to be smart.
It's cool to be smart.
Yeah.
And so with your program, you do reading, media literacy,
Mm-hmm.
digital
Digital
citizenship.
citizenship.
That's interesting. I
Yeah.
have
I can
no
explain
idea
those
what that
things
is.
to you.
Cool. And then you also work all achievement for the Houston community.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we know each other because you're also part of the 100 Black Men. You
Mhm.
volunteer because we did some yoga with your mentors.
Wow.
I know, right?
Yeah. Our parents as well as our
And,
mentees.
exactly.
Dr. Kiva does great with that.
Yeah, and it was
That's
just
awesome.
nice. And then you also have Houston Network of Outdoor Afro,
Right.
and that helps to reconnect Black communities to outdoor activities.
Outdoor activities of all types and nature.
Oh, cool.
Lovely.
I know. I wish you could find some Black farmers too that we can go and visit.
We're working on that as well.
Of course you are.
Because that's a part of what we do is, because farming, any outdoor activities, outdoor careers, any of those kinds of things we look to reconnect our folk with, because we have that rich history.
Right.
But a lot of times people don't realize, they don't think about that. Harriet Tubman was one of the greatest environmentalists of them all. Outdoors, people think about her in terms of, freeing the slave, but she had to know about birds. She had to know about plant life. She had to know about hiking,
right.
outdoor activities. So that's a person, people who are a little skeptical sometimes, I'll say, well, Harriet Tubman, so on and so forth.
I never thought about
That's
it that
fair.
way, but
No.
she would have to, right? To
Absolutely.
know
I figured she
what
had some
plants were
astronomy
good
in
or
her.
bad. And,
Right.
Yeah.
Astronomy.
She had to have
all
some of
those
that in
kind
her
of things.
background. Yeah.
And trails, orienteering, knowing where to go and how to go. So,
Nice.
we have that connection already
Right.
with the outdoors. I mean, think about it. We were brought here because of our skills.
Right.
Those of us who, are descendants of enslaved Africans. We were brought here because of our skills with outdoor activities.
Right.
And so, we're trying to help reconnect those folk with that. And one of our slogans for this year, because of COVID, is "Nature never closes."
Oh, I like that.
So other things may close, but nature never
closes.
So we always have an outlet to the outdoors when we may feel anxious or depressed or need that reconnect. Now, in the type of work that you do, that's very, very important. And so, that's something that I think we have in common there.
Yeah, because what is it? It's called earthing. When you take off your shoes and you actually put your feet in the soil and you get the energy from the earth.
Get grounded. Get grounded. That
get
feels
grounded,
good.
and it helps with a lot of like anxiety and depression.
Yes. Raises your vibration.
Yeah,
all that
exactly.
Good stuff.
Because I always want to do it, but I'm too afraid that maybe there's a dog buying.
You have to get your own. You have to get your own space.
Yeah, you come over to my backyard.
Yeah,
exactly.
When no one else goes.
Right.
That can be your space.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that is so
That's
nice.
awesome.
Because I want to know what are some of the activities you guys have coming up, or what have you done in the past?
Well, sure. I'll explain some of those things to you. Unfortunately, COVID-19 has limited some of what we have done.
Right.
I've been involved with Outdoor Afro, the Houston network of Outdoor Afro, since April.
Okay.
So we had one outdoor event,
right,
and then we had to start moving things indoors. So if you ever heard of disc golf?
No.
I've heard of disc golf.
Disc golf. Some people refer to it as frisbee golf.
Oh, okay.
That was
never heard of that either.
That was right, and that's another thing that we do. We're introducing all kinds of new activities and things to our communities. So disc golf is basically like golf, but you have a specialized disc that you he likes disc golf. You have a specialized disc that you use,
right,
and you just kind of throw it towards these baskets and these goals, and you can have 9 holes or you can have 18 holes.
Right.
So we took a group out there.
Right.
This was out in Sugar Land.
Oh.
And we took a group out there to a free disc golf course, and we played 9 holes. Right.
Nice.
Now you're outdoors, you're having a good time, but sometimes traditional golf is not accessible to a lot of people because of the cost involved.
That's right.
A disc golf equipment is talking about maybe $10 max, maybe $15 if you want to get different. You have like your putter, you have your fairway, you have your mid range. So that's and that's much less for folk to get involved in that activity. And then they have those courses all over the country. You can look them up online. They're free.
That's why I've heard of it before.
Really?
So, right.
So there's one in Sugar Land?
There's in Houston.
Really?
And so again, we're introducing people to things that are right there in their area. And another important aspect that we do with Outdoor Afro is we talk about the Black history, the local Black history, wherever we go to have any kind of events. We also do an land acknowledgement for the First Nations folk that came before us, the Native Americans, and stuff. When we did the disc golf outing, I talked about, because I'm the historian for our team, for obvious reasons, because I'm a historian. But we talked about the Sugar Land 95.
Yeah. Okay.
And those former
prisoners.
Convict. I keep want to call them enslaved.
They weren't.
Africa.
Yeah.
They were.
We could find a better name for them because
convict laborers.
Yeah.
I think we talked about that, and the folk who came on our event were not really that familiar with that.
That was
very
disturbing.
It hit it was all in the paper.
Oh, it was
but
very
last
disturbing.
Year,
yeah,
talked
2
a
years
lot about it when they found the
bodies where they were
the burial
digging.
sites.
Where they were going to put a new facility,
a new school.
They must not have seen Poltergeist. Because they probably would have rethought that.
Or Pet Cemetery.
Yeah. I never saw that one. But
we're dating ourselves a little bit with that.
Yeah. Hello.
I think. But so we combine those two things when we do our Outdoor Afro events. We do about 2 per month, and that was the last in-person one that we did.
Okay, you guys had one for birding also.
That one's coming up.
Oh, okay.
That one's coming up September 19th.
Nice.
And as you can imagine, we're doing these events. People are kind of cooped up now.
Yeah.
So we have big waiting lists for these
that's
events.
nice.
Because we have like limited numbers we can have due to COVID.
Right.
So, we're doing 25. We've got a waiting list of 25 people sign up. We've got 15 or 20 people on the waiting list for those events. So after COVID, it'll be great. We can do a lot more of those kind of things. But prior to that birding event, we're have a collaboration between another organization I work with, Intellectual, as you mentioned before.
That's a great name.
Intellectual and Outdoor Afro working together with something called Nature by the Book.
Okay.
Nature by the Book. And so I don't know if you've heard about that, but what we're doing is we're looking at books that talk, about nature, outdoor activities, and those kind of things. And that's the joy of reading, introducing people to reading the intellectual piece, but then the outdoor piece is the books.
So what intellectual? That's such a cool name.
Mm-hmm.
So what exactly is intellectual? I need to be intellectual.
Well, intellectual. I'm the founder and chief program officer of that organization. We've got 7 or 8 folk that are involved at the board level with that. And what it is, I was a high school teacher for 20 years before I went into the academy, into college, and I noticed that a lot of younger people were getting out of reading. Mm-hmm. They were reading, or they were just kind of skimming it. They weren't really reading things well, and they didn't really. If it wasn't on television or on the internet, they didn't really get it or process it, and they felt like it was just not really accessible, to them.
Right.
And so, and they couldn't analyze, they couldn't think deeply about things. So I decided when I had an opportunity, I wanted to really work in that area and get young people and really people of all ages more involved in critical thinking activities, the joy of reading, so on and so forth, and then that digital citizenship piece, which I know you want to ask me about.
That was my next question, actually.
Literacy, all those kinds of things. So I formed Intellectual with my family members, my son, my wife, and some good friends of mine.
Right.
And we've been out there about 3 years now, but we're really kind of gearing up our activities within this last year because everybody has a little bit more time to do stuff because of COVID. So Nature by the Book is one of our first activities of the year. The book we're reading now is Birding for Everyone.
Okay.
So getting people of color into birding. There's a famous birder named John C. Robinson that wrote this book mid 2000s, and so we're kind of slowly going through that book. The book is available for $2.99 on Kindle, ebook.
That's
and
cool.
So it makes it where it's easy for people to access. And we've been having Zoom sessions where we discuss the book. We've been reading 3 or 4 page chapters per session. So we're kind of discussing it together, leading up to our birding event, what we call Birding While Black One.
I like it.
Our birding event that we're going to do out in the Tomball area later in September 19th. Mm-hmm. So we've got 3 reading sessions leading up to that event, so we can't get out there. Now, eventually what we're going to do with Nature by the Book is, instead of doing it via Zoom, we're going to be out in some outdoor location discussing those books, and then we'll go and do
try
some
to find the because ever since I've heard about the birding activity, it's like now when I'm running, I'm like, oh, there are a lot of different birds out here.
Hopefully
I never paid attention to it.
Hopefully we're going to get you out there and
something.
Yeah. Let me tell you, I've been getting real interested in bird. We had a kite, there was a nest in a tree right behind us, and a very distinctive sound. And so I guess it was the baby kite, and we'd see the mother. And then so we started doing some research on what kites do, and find out that they're very territorial, and they will swoop down on you if they feel threatened in any way. And then we have a heron, a blue heron that visits us every single day. The same time every single day. We named her Ladybird.
So did you know the type of bird, or did you have to look it up?
No, we had to look it up. We had to look it up.
Maybe she was like, oh,
I'm not that, but I'm getting better because we have so many unique birds that they love to hang. Sometimes they fight on our wall. The crow will come and the heron will knock the crow out of the neighborhood. She's not playing. She's territorial. And they're tall and elegant, really pretty. I
love herons.
And she's not afraid of the crow. How interesting is that?
So it sounds like for our 3rd session,
come to my backyard.
Well, no, it sounds like we need you on our Zoom call.
I would happily, because I'm becoming I literally brought my binoculars out back last week. I said, I wanted to see the nest because the sound is so unique, really
so
cute.
with the intellectual, is there is it a mentorship program also? Is it just mainly, are you teaching people how to read?
That's a great question. We're really kind of trying to start small and kind of expand instead of starting large and really not do well. So we've got 3 main activities that we're doing for this year. One of them is the Nature by the Book piece that we're doing with Outdoor Afro. And then we have our book talks that we call Intellectual Journeys.
That's great.
And this is something we've been doing for a few years. We originally were doing them at Brazos Bookstore. Now we're doing them at Geidt Gallery. Post COVID.
Oh, I like that. Yeah.
Lloyd Geidt is a great guy. He's a good friend of mine through my work with 100 Black Men as well as with Intellectual.
And what's the age group of the group that you have right now? Are they all youth?
What you're talking about for
your for what you're doing right now, the Intellectual.
Oh, Intellectual. Yes. That's just really more of an advocacy organization.
Okay.
It's not like a mentoring thing. We have activities for different levels for different things that we do.
But the birding is not your.
Well, no, that can be for anyone. Anyone who wants to read and get involved, they can just come to our Zoom session. Hopefully, like Dr. Kiva said, having read the chapters,
Right.
and then we can discuss those things. Because again, it's about getting people interested and engaged in reading. Now, our next book we haven't chosen yet, but it'll be some other outdoor related kind of activity.
Okay.
Now, our book talk that we're going to be doing. That's coming up in October, and I'll get y'all information about that. It's a wellness journey, so it's going to be about health and wellness in the Black community.
That's cool.
That would be
That's
nice.
very cool.
So we're going to have some authors.
That's right up our alley.
yeah. So we're going to have authors who have written about those subjects,
Uh-huh.
and we'll have 2 or 3 of them. We'll do a panel style.
Nice.
And and I'm generally the moderator because I've done it in the past. And you may not know, but I had a podcast where I've done 40 podcasts for New Books Network in African American Studies. So I've interviewed and talked with a lot of authors over the years, and scholars and stuff. And plus, I'm in the academy as well.
Right.
As an academic, as a university. So I come in contact with different kind of folk. And it's been great. And that was doing that was one of the reasons why I started Intellectual, because in talking with folk on those podcasts, they were like, we really want to get involved in the community and make that connection, come down from that ivory tower and get, regular folk, quote unquote, involved with reading and activities. So when we did those interviews, we would have them out there, a crowd just like this, and they could ask the people, questions. We would bring scholars and writers in from all over the country and get them to talk in intimate settings, not a big 50, 60 person deal. 15, 20, 30 people. And then we go to dinner
It's
afterwards.
real impactful. Yeah.
So Intellectual books, you guys get together in Zoom and you get to discuss it.
Yeah, that's one of our activities.
And that's one of your activities. And you'll tell us the books that you'll read, and maybe we can even start a little Intellectual How You Living
I like that.
Zoom conversations with some of the books that you tell us about.
And and once we get out of COVID, we could potentially bring some of the writers when they come to town. We can have them come on the air.
That would be
I love
nice.
your optimism, saying once we get out of COVID. Can you tell us when that might be?
No. I'm a historian, but I don't do the future.
You're not a predictor.
I can do the past.
And so you said that was one thing that you did with that. What else did what else am I missing that you guys do?
So our main areas of focus are reading advocacy. We're trying to increase the joy of reading in young people particularly, but really people of all ages. Now we're going to focus on people of color, but really it's anyone who's interested in reading. We don't limit our activity to anyone. But if people who comes in and become involved with what we do know that it's going to be a focus on the Black community and people of color. So when we do wellness, it's going to be relating to our wellness. Right. So we've got the book talks that we're going to be doing in October. You got Nature About a Book that we're doing now. It's a collaboration with Outdoor Afro. And we've got another event we're doing with a good friend of mine. Shout out to Dr. Louis Dunno Gottberg at Rice University.
Nice.
He's my partner. We're doing a project called Houston Youth Power, which is practicing organizing, writing, editing, and research. So it's brown and Black youth studying about the resistant movements in Houston. How can they collaborate and come together? So this is something that is a project that we're doing. It's a collaboration between Intellectual and Rice University. But we're going to open up an application process to young people, high school age, in this area, and we're going to teach them how to do research, how to write, how to edit, and they're going to produce a podcast. We might have to look at getting them on How You Livin as well.
I know.
Find out how they living.
Is that part of your media literacy?
Yes.
Okay.
That's part of our media literacy piece, as well as the digital citizenship.
Yes.
But we're teaching them about how to research and find things in the past, but also looking at media representations of people of color.
Right.
How do people have negative viewpoints about brown people, Black people, whatever the case may be,
and how to even vet that information that you get. That's the biggie.
Right.
So they're going to be researching, they're going to be writing, they're going to be producing, and they're going to come up with their own podcasts and things that we're going to have a website for them, and they can share it. We want it to be young people versus us. So they're developing those skills, and then they can do it for a future project.
Right.
So what's the criteria for someone who wants to participate in that?
Well, we're still working through that process with it now, but what we're going to probably do is, I'm expecting we're going to have an application process, and then we're going to select maybe 10 students. My partner, who's a Rice University person, will be able to work with some of the things that the people that they have there. But it's in flux. It's not something that we've started yet.
Okay.
And then of course you're the Prairie View person. So we're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we're going to find out how we feel about people going back to school now. What are our
Mhm.
thoughts on, because he is a professor
That's
at
right.
Prairie View. So how are you feeling about getting back with those youngins and how they're going to respond to COVID? And of course, we're going to find out more about books, because what I really want to see if we can get some talks about just getting into history.
Yeah.
You know, and I know that's your
Yes.
jam.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll take a quick little break, and please, if you have any questions, definitely contact us on Facebook, and we can ask
Yes.
our additional books we want to talk about.
Hey.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
So we'll be right back.
Reading is fundamental.
That's right.
Reading is fundamental.
The Natural Nation Network is really about taking control of your health physically, spiritually, emotionally, even intellectually, because there's so much out there in misinformation. There's a lot of people now that are suffering from all sorts of diseases that they really wouldn't have to suffer for if they had better information. And that's what we're here to do. Provide information that can save lives.
The mind and the body are totally connected.
Health can be really serious, and sometimes we just have to lighten it up a little bit while we're still providing substantive information. And my sort of mantra on the salsa dance floor is kind of similar. I tell somebody, if you make a mistake twice, it becomes a move. Okay?
Tune into Natural Nation every Tuesday at 11 a.m.
We work our whole lives to support our families. With one accident or illness, it can all be gone in an instant. Now there's a smart, affordable way to protect your family. Go to findhealthbenefits.com and discover low-cost life insurance for as little as $2 per month. Add to that a tax-deferred annuity that can help you protect your assets and grow your money for retirement. Learn more. Go to findhealthbenefits.com or call 877-235-6094. A critical illness can strike without warning and wipe out your life savings. In fact, it's the #1 reason for bankruptcy. Find Health Benefits offers an affordable solution. Get up to $50,000 if you get cancer, stroke, or a heart attack, giving you the peace of mind to focus on getting better while the plan helps you to pay your bills and medical expenses. Learn more. Go to findhealthbenefits.com or call 877-235-6094. 66% of seniors spend more time shopping for cable TV than Medicare plans. Most say because it's just too confusing. Laws change every year. The wrong plan could cost you thousands and prevent you from seeing the doctors you want. Introducing FindHealthBenefits.com. Save time, save money, see specialists without referrals. Go to FindHealthBenefits.com or call 877-235-6094 for this informative brochure.
Society is on the edge. Let's bring them back. Edge Radio, because truth still matters. When people stop talking to each other, society is on the edge. Let's bring them back. Edge Radio, because truth still matters.
Okay, we are back, y'all, and we are talking to Dr. James Stansel. Dr. James Stansel, and he is about to talk to us about. See, she threw me off because
I know you did well.
At first, I felt like I said stencil, so I wanted to be real explicit.
You saw you got some East Coast in you.
It's a little bit of Boston.
Okay,
just a tiny bit. Mostly Texas twang now. So.
I can hear you.
Anyway, you were about to answer some questions that Kiva had regarding the digital. Is that what we're talking about? Digital literacy?
Citizenship.
Okay.
And media literacy.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's really three main things that we focus on in Intellectual. One of them is reading advocacy, getting people into the joy of reading. Right. But also another is media literacy. That really was a big thing coming out of the last election and in general, where you have people that you see stuff on social media, on the news, and it may or may not be true. And just because people see it, they think that is real and it's true. Particularly with older people. People just back in the day, they used to send us the email forwards with all kind of stuff. Now it's they send it to you in your messages, your DMs, and things like that.
And a lot of people say, well, if it's on the internet, it must be true.
Right.
And you kind of mentioned that a little bit earlier about something we were listening to, and the whole story wasn't out.
Right. And that's a big media literacy is a big thing for me again.
That is a big one.
I was a psychology teacher, for K-12 for years and years and years, and it drives me crazy when people just don't say stuff that they don't talk about, or they'll what do they call it? Share something on the internet they haven't even read.
Yes,
that could be 10 years old or whatever. Sometimes they'll say Luther Vandross, rest in peace, and he's been dead for 10 years.
Or how those kind of still things. Alive.
They did that with Obama once too.
Yeah,
like he was at a food bank giving out food, and I was like, this is 5 years old.
Right.
Yeah. Like they was like, it happens now.
Happens
and just
often.
share it without reading it.
Yes.
So media literacy, the whole idea is, if you think about literacy in general, people being able to read, right?
Right.
And you have people who are illiterate, or people who are literate or have limited literacy. Think about that when you think about media literacy. Think about how knowledgeable you are about the things that are out there in the world, in terms of on the internet, on television, or whatever. How well can you discern what's truthful and factual and what's not? And so when we talk about media literacy, it's not just enough to be able to read,
right?
But can you discern?
Understand it, right?
Can you understand it? Can you discern what's factual and what's not? So you're not just spewing stuff. Wow. And unfortunately, in our community, sometimes we have folk, you believe Big Mama or whatever, and if she's telling you something that's wrong, then you could grow up thinking it's wrong. Your whole life. Your whole life,
and then you perpetuate that.
Exactly. And so for us in Intellectual, we're really, really passionate about media literacy, because we want this next generation to be knowledgeable and be able to share proper information, because knowledge is power. And so we want to make sure that not just for young people, for anyone, we would eventually love to have like a campaign for seniors where we help them become more. Because I think of my own mother, I have to educate her. Some stuff that you used to say when you were, when back 30, 40 years ago, I don't want to get into it now, but some things she says are really offensive to other groups,
I had that discussion with my mom.
Yeah, you can't say some stuff.
Right, and they don't know.
Because it pops up, you don't always have to believe it. And we had those discussions, so we always have those good family debates.
Well, don't say the quiet part out loud.
Right, there you go. That's right, keep the quiet part in. Right.
So that's what media literacy really is being able to understand and analyze and know what's going on out there. So when you read something, where does this source come from?
Right.
Is it coming from Russia? Is this someone pretending to be someone else?
Is it a bot?
Right. Or, what really is this person's intention? Is they're putting this information out there? Are they coming from this perspective or that perspective, or are they in the middle? And so being able to really to discern. So
you'll be doing a huge service to our future.
Exactly. It's funny because I had a discussion. Probably I don't know who it was with, and they were talking about how milk is on your body, and I was like, well, it's not really that healthy because of ABC. Then we come to find out it was a study done by the Dairy Association.
Oh yeah, we were talking about that too, the lobbies, because there was a time when they were saying cheese was so good for you.
Yeah, so that's when you kind of go through and say, well, where is this?
Where's it coming from? And most of the time, it's a lobby. So, a lobbyist group.
We talked about my history background. When I was coming through school, they always talked about the fact that history is written by the victors.
Wow.
So you think about that.
That makes perfect sense.
So think about the story of anything if it was written by the losers or written by someone else.
Right.
It's all the perspective.
It's all about perspective.
Well,
so understanding those perspectives.
Right. Well, in terms of that, though, the Civil War, you would think that the winners won. I mean, the losers won because that story is so strong and powerful out
Well, it
there.
depends on where you live, you know.
Right.
You know, I taught for a long time in Virginia, so
Mhm.
we had people who came from like Northern Virginia and other parts, and
Yeah.
then the southern part.
Mhm.
You know, it was the War of Northern Aggression.
Yeah.
You know, they call it some
Missouri's
places.
got a whole lot of Confederate lovers.
Yeah, and then some would just call it this, you know, the Civil War. It's
Right.
about what
Yeah.
your perspective and kind of where you know where you are.
Yeah.
And now we say enslaved Africans instead of saying slaves
Or
because
indigenous servants.
yeah.
Oh,
because
migrant
you-
workers. Literally, our textbook said migrant workers.
Right,
In
because
Texas.
you're not a slave.
A Texas.
You know, you're actually a person, so you're an enslaved person.
Right.
Or
That's a
enslaved
very
Africans.
good point.
So you know, when people start thinking of themselves as slaves,
right.
Right,
you know,
right,
or
right.
you're
It's
a descendant
mental.
of us, it's mental. So that again, that's media literacy as well. You know,
Really important.
I
That's
need
super.
to be in that program
Yeah.
with the kids.
Yeah, we all do.
well, again, this is not necessarily going to be for the
There's
kids.
room for
That's
everyone.
good, 'cause
Yeah.
I need it as an adult.
So when we're talking about the Houston Youth Power,
Uh-huh.
you know, that's we're going to be looking at media representations of Black and brown folk, and you know how they work together. But you know, in the
Right.
past, how can we work together now? You know, to solve some of these issues and problems. You know, and a lot of it is media representation. You know, so
And
that's
there's a lot of history stuff for sure.
Oh, yes,
You
for
gotta
sure.
know your history.
you got to know your past to move forward in your future, or you possibly, not always, but possibly could repeat it, be a positive or negative. So that's media literacy. Digital
That's great.
citizenship. Digital citizenship. That word always gets me.
That's a fact. Yeah. That's
Digital citizenship piece is related, but not exactly the same.
Okay.
Because it's about you being a citizen. You know, we have certain responsibilities as United States citizens.
Right.
Well, you know, we should vote. We should abide by the law. We should do things a certain way. And unfortunately, everyone doesn't do all those things.
Serve on a jury.
Yeah, serve on a jury.
Hello.
Some of those kinds of things. But digital
I heard
citizenship is
Yeah.
there's a story there.
Yeah, it's a private joke.
Right.
We'll share with you later.
So digital citizenship is when you're involved in the digital space, there are certain responsibilities that you have
Right.
as well. Right?
Mhm.
That you should behave a certain way.
Okay.
You should do things a certain way. You know? So you shouldn't
Right.
so you shouldn't put stuff out there that's not necessarily true.
Right.
Yes.
You shouldn't reveal private conversation. If you're gonna be recording someone, you know, they should know about what's going on. You shouldn't screenshot private
It
conversations.
makes
and
perfect
post them.
sense. Right now, the more you explain it,
Yes.
that
Yeah.
makes perfect
So they're
sense.
related, but
Just
they're
being
not.
real responsible with your digital.
There you go. So
Okay.
you want to
Yeah.
call it digital responsibility?
Yeah.
You could call it that. So
I remember my mother used to say, "Don't write anything down you don't want somebody else to read."
right,
And it's like, okay, once you put it out into digital
It's
space,
there.
it's there
it's there forever,
forever.
forever.
And if you try to delete it, someone else can
Oh,
say,
screenshots are very
Exactly.
popular.
Yeah, particularly for young. And again,
Yeah.
I came out of K-12 for 20 years, and they'll screenshot,
In a
you know,
second.
whatever.
Yeah.
But this is what Jolene said about
right,
you. You know,
right,
bam,
right.
There,
and
there
there
it
you
is.
go. There's a fight. Next thing you know,
Right.
they're all
Oh,
like,
and then
"Yo."
it's World Star.
Yeah.
You know, they get
Yeah,
Exactly.
World Star. They're all at Jolene's house.
Yeah,
you know.
they're waiting. You know, they're
It's
recording.
bad, it's bad.
For the videos. So that's what digital citizenship is really all
Okay.
about. So as you can see, both of those are important things. Now,
Yeah.
when we started Intellectual, and you know, Dr. Kiba knows I'm involved with other organizations, but I look at, you know, a needs assessment. What are some areas that, you know, that I have some strengths in,
Right.
and that people that I work with have some strengths in, that we can kind of share with the community that maybe aren't being necessarily done the same way,
Mhm.
you know, in some of the same spaces. So that's why we're focusing on those particular areas.
Right.
And that's really the direction I'm going to be going in,
Okay.
Okay.
you know, here.
Yeah, because
pretty soon.
I just
Sounds
thought
good.
about when, back in the day, not to put our age out there, but you know, when
She's still
young,
29. What we talking
Hello.
about?
exactly already, when young guys, when they would read books, it'd be comic books.
Mhm.
At least it was still reading.
Oh yes.
Right.
You know, and
right.
so, but now you wonder what do the youth read?
Right.
But it's more so, I don't know if they have anything that they connect to.
Right.
Because I mean, little boys used to trade comic books,
Yeah.
and
Oh yeah.
you
I was
know,
one of those little boys.
exactly, and that was, but
And
in
that
a
was
sense,
a great entry into your reading.
Reading
because
It helped me.
kept them interested.
And imagination.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
Now all those stories that I read as a young person, now they're making billions of dollars on the screen.
Yes, they are.
Avengers and
Yeah.
Spider-Man.
And those-
I like
that
those
was the
movies.
stuff. That was the stuff I read.
That's right.
And I was, you know, in class reading those things. People were like, "Man, what you doing?" It wasn't
Right.
cool. But now everybody watches it and those kind of things.
That's true.
So
So-
now, what you do with you had questions about.
Well,
Yes,
I
ma'am.
know you're involved with 100 Black Men.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, is any part of that introducing the youth to the voting or the responsibility they have of voting?
You know,
Are
it's
you-
always gonna go back to voting.
Well,
at
I
some
mean,
point.
right now,
That's all
it's
right
super-
now.
Well, for those who don't know, 100 Black Men of America is a national organization. There are 100 chapters all across the country. And we're the largest mentoring organization for African American males in the country and possibly the world. I don't know what's going on somewhere else.
More than likely.
More than likely, but I can't speak. Again, I'm media literacy, right?
I know.
I try to speak
from a place of truth.
Speak from a place of truth. And so we have what we call our 4 pillars: economic empowerment, leadership development, mentoring, education, and health and wellness, because leadership development goes through, also really kind of 5 pillars, but we work on leadership development through all those pillars. So education about voting issues and citizenship, those kind of things is a part of it. Now, because of COVID, we haven't done any specific stuff with that right now. And we have about 50 mentees that are our main mentees that we work with. And we have like affiliate programs. We have Emerging 100, which is 35 and under Black males that we mentor. We have our Collegiate 100, which we have chapters at Texas Southern University, University of Houston, and at my school, PV, repping my PV folks out there. But at any rate, those are our programs, and those have men and women as well. Actually, our Collegiate 100 has more women than they have men. At those chapters.
Oh, that's awesome that you guys are not just specific to men.
Right.
Okay.
At the Collegiate 100 level. And then we have other organizations that we partner with, like the National Council of 100 Black Women, the Links organizations, and of course sororities, where we can have outlet for those women to get involved in other activities once they leave college.
Okay.
But the short answer to your question is right now, I can't think of any specific activity due to COVID that we have that we specifically saying young people vote. Now, at the college level, those Collegiate 100 organizations have their own activities that they do. So they have different things they do. And I can guarantee you that they're going to be involved in some of those kind of things. We, as a chapter, are going to be involved with voter registration and being at the polls and those kind of things in November. So look out for your 100 brothers from Houston. We're going to be around. But, in terms of voter education specifically right now, that's not one of those specific things that we have, but we do all-inclusive educational activities.
Yeah, because I would imagine even before this time, you probably talked to the young guys about the importance of, because I think people have tunnel vision on, it's just, let me get this president and this president, and not looking at the other steps and the bigger pictures.
We work with our young men, and we work generally with young men grades 6 to 12. And then we, like I said, we do all this mentoring across a lifetime. So once you get grade 6, you can stay with us until you can't do anything else.
I tell you, Robin, you'll love this. So I was there, getting ready to teach some classes, and they'll have young Black men coming in, and don't let your pants sag, or you don't have your shirt in, or you don't wear a belt. They take you right outside and they talk to you, and the parents are there.
Yes.
They keep the parents involved. So with that program, the parents also
we have
have
parent
to be connected.
And that was something that I've been involved with, particularly myself,
Love it.
because we were trying to avoid the drop-off culture.
Of course.
Where you drop off your son for a few hours, whatever. We want you to come in and, we have parent sessions, about entrepreneurship, about police culture, school discipline, all different kinds of topics. And we keep the parents there. And so if the parents going to be there, we know the young men are going to be there.
Right.
Wow. So what's the criteria for volunteering? Because that sounds awesome.
Well, our chapter members are the mentors.
That's it.
They're the
because
mentors.
you guys are doing
100 Black men.
That's fantastic.
And we have like a certification program and mentor training and all those kind of things. Now, people can come out, like Kiva volunteers with us to do yoga stuff. So for certain kind of events and things like that, we do that. But we don't just have people, it's also liability issues. We don't have people just show. We have people all the time. So I want to come out there and work. No.
Right.
We don't know you like that.
Right.
So you got to be vetted.
Yes.
I don't know.
We got to figure you out before we do that.
But one of our things with 100 Black men here locally, because each chapter across the country have main areas that they work with, and ours is career development.
Like that.
So we call it hashtag Saturday Career Academy. So we have like mentoring in medicine, which is a nationally recognized award-winning program that we have, where we introduce the young men. In that case, we open it up to everybody, young men and women. To introduce them to careers in biomedical research and medicine in general. We have building to architecture. We introduce them to architecture careers.
Yeah, I think we even had one of our guests come and talk to you, Charles Washington.
Oh, yes.
Yes,
absolutely.
Yeah, he's a friend of the show.
Oh, yes. Really good brother.
Yeah,
we have hands-on careers, for folk who maybe aren't going to college or going to trade school, some of those kind of things.
Okay.
We have selling into maritime, about maritime careers. So we do all those kind of things, in addition to those straight up, citizenship, personal responsibility kind of things as well.
And that's so important because a lot of times you don't know what career to go into because you had no experience with
or
it.
exposure.
Exactly, exposure.
And that's our thing is about exposure.
Yeah.
For me, in general, if you probably haven't figured out, a lot of what I do is about exposure.
Right.
Be it with Outdoor Afro, Intellectual, or 100 Black Men, is exploring, giving people the opportunity to explore and expand their horizons, because then you can make informed decisions. Again, that goes back to that media literacy piece, right?
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So, are you ready to go back to school?
Oh yeah, we're talking about the school the school piece.
In class, you guys are having in-class lessons?
Well, Dr. Kiva mentioned earlier, I'm a professor. I'm actually the coordinator of tutoring services at Prairie View.
Tutoring service at Prairie View University.
So I'm a student academic support specialist. So once the students get on campus, it's my job and my team to help the students as much as possible get their academic stuff in order and help them to graduate. So Prairie View is actually on online instruction for the first 2 weeks. That was something that came out just a few days ago.
Right.
Just to kind of protect the students a little bit more. Most of our classes are going to be online or what they call hybrid, where the students, let's say you have a Monday and Wednesday class. Half of the class will be in person on Monday, and the other half on Wednesday, and then the other half would be
stagger it out.
Stagger it out, just to avoid having so many people in place at the same time. And we have so many more online classes. And all of us do Zoom all the time now,
right? And
so the students are some of them probably zoomed out, but they're well versed in how to do the Zoom and the video conferencing and all those kind of things. So I think it'll be fine. For me, I love working with the young people. As you can see, the kind of work that I do.
You've been in it for how many years?
You're in the right profession.
You already told on yourself. You said 20 years in high school.
Well, I started doing.
10.
I started doing community programs and being involved in the community and active in those kind of things as a 15-year-old.
That explains.
Because I had a good mentor. I was a country boy from rural North Carolina, and I had a good mentor. He was one of the only black males that was around. Shout out to Stanley Purvis if you're out there anywhere. That he worked with us. He brought the boys in, and he was like a assistant teacher for like the special education program classes. But he brought all the boys in, and we did all kinds of activities and those sorts of things. And then, I was like, okay, someone did this for me, and I want to give back and do those things for other people. And myself, and it's interesting, a lot of those boys that were involved with him are now involved doing those same kind of things out in the community. A good friend of mine, Marlon Lee, he's on the town council in Smithfield. He's where I come from, and he's involved with all kinds of activities there. And I can just keep going on down the list.
And that's why it's important, because that gives a strong foundation for sure.
Right. And so I'm hoping that some of these folk that I'm doing these things with and trying to educate and help them, they'll go out and do those things as well. And my son, he's an architectural designer now. Shout out to my son Davin and my wife Tanya. But he works very carefully with us and closely with us in doing a lot of our activities. I try to have my family involved with everything that I do.
Well, we're going to take a little break.
Oh yeah, we're running.
And then when we come back, we're going to find out how to get involved with all of these things that you are doing and how we can help the community. Well, so no break.
Okay, we're not going to get it because we'll be leaving soon, I believe. Well, I did have a question for you, though. What about leisure stuff? Like, do you encourage them to go fishing? To enjoy the outside, doing something that's just a little laid back.
Well, with the mentor, with the kids.
Oh yes. Well, Outdoor Afro Week. That's
okay. That's what Afro Week is.
Well, Outdoor Afro, that organization.
Outdoor Afro.
Yeah, Outdoor Afro.
Okay.
I don't have
outdoor. So how do we get in contact for any of these organizations? What's your social media?
Okay, so 100 Black Men of Metropolitan Houston has a website, 100blackmenhou.org. You can also find us on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook. Outdoor Afro, there's the national site, outdoorafro.com. But if you want to be involved with Outdoor Afro Houston, we have a meetup page, and that's where you sign up for all our events. So you can go to Meetup and do a search for Outdoor Afro Houston. And then you can join us, and you'll see my smiling face there, and my partner Leah Cook Simonton, who works at Houston Zoo, who's my Houston Network co-leader.
Oh, that's cool.
There. Now with Intellectual, we're a slowly growing organization. We have a Facebook page, we have a LinkedIn page. We don't have a main website as yet. That's going to be coming. That's going to be one of the things I'm going to be working on here in January 2021. But just look out, on social media, and all those organizations work together along with Melanie Yoga Project and all the now How You Livin, right?
Right.
Yeah,
we're part of the family.
We again, and collaboration is key. Right. And so all those different organizations, you'll see stuff shared amongst each other and all those kind of things. So you can always find it. And again, with Guy Gallery, we're going to be out there in October for that book talk.
So is he still doing his monthly? He was doing monthly showings of his gallery.
Yes. I haven't talked with him in a
always wanted to do that. I think it was like the first Monday or first Friday or something.
Yeah, you can reach out to him to find out for sure. I don't want, again, media literacy.
I know.
I don't want to put something out here
right.
wrong.
That's not factual.
Yeah. Okay. I saw him at a food distribution a little while ago, but not specific.
Well, you are a wealth of knowledge. Thank you so much for coming out and sharing with us. And we will definitely share whenever there's a book that you're promoting. Let us know so we can, tell people about the book of the month or the week or whatever it is for sure. Yeah. But thank you so much for coming and spending your time with us.
Your activities.
Before you go hang out with those PV students.
Thank you so much, Dr. Stanso.
It's my pleasure.
We appreciate you.
Dr. Kiva.
All right, guys.
Well, thank you so much for watching How You Livin' today. And remember,
how you living?
Living well.
Have a great week, guys. Take care. See you next Monday.